having fun in the hobby room. Hope you join me. Please subscribe. F86 build coming soon. More and more videos. Okay, here we go. Getting looking a little neater. You see, there are the wires here. Underneath this power line, back out over on this side where they belong. Okay. These go to the front of the airplane. Now, I gotta put the plastic ducting in. But before I do that, remember, I have to run, I think I have to install this, right? And run the wires for it. I believe I have to do that before. I wanted to glue that on, put the tube on, get all that done. Then I'll put the two halves together. But before I put that tube in, where I still got, it's easy to work here, I think I'm gonna run that second wire I gotta run down here, because I gotta cut these lines in, a second set of wires in. It looks like lots up here, but there's just as much room on the other half, so there's only one wire on it so far, so all these should fit just fine. So I'm going to take a double look at this. My ESC fits just beautiful here. I'm going to double side sticky tape it on the one side. Maybe I'll epoxy that in. Just on the side. There's going to be good heating on the bottom there. So do that just on the side. I'll put a 5-minute epoxy. Get him set in there. And these wires, I think I'm just going to leave them loose. I really do. I think they'll be just fine behind the duct loose. Maybe a little strip of tape holding them in place. But I'm going to glue this in for now, and when I come back I think we'll run the wires and double check and then glue that in. So once we glue the elevator in, put the tube in, then I think we can close up this back end. Yes, sirree. Maybe do a little test on this thrust. See how it comes out the back here. I think this is going to be a pretty good runner. I only want 65 or 70 amps for the motor, and I have 120 amp ESC. Although I've seen guys on YouTube come down out of the sky in flames because their ESC fried on them. So I went with a bigger ESC just for that reason. Well, here we are back. I got the ESC epoxied in. Now I think I'm just going to take a little bit of epoxy and just tack these wires in behind this tube. So I'll mix that up and get that done. I'm going to make sure though, oh yeah, they're all clear and easy. Okay. So, sort of like right where they lay. Just going to put a little bit of epoxy just to pin the wire down. I'll keep it from flying all over the place. Same with this. Maybe a little piece of tape for now. We don't want any tape inside there. Tape there. We should be around just to take that. Just a little bit of epoxy on these. Where they're touching. naturally. Glue them in. They should stay in place. Let's just say we won't have any surprise loss of power or wires coming undone because of weird things. So we'll do this now. Save problems down the road, because once we seal this up, it's going to be hard to get in here. Okay, the epoxy set, we'll be back to do some more. Last time, got all this stuff here, at the fan, got all the wiring, the ESC in the bottom here. We've got all this in this section here. Now, we'll put the tube in. But before we do that, I have one more part to run here. And that's this rudder. Remember, I did a mod in it. So, I'm going to have to glue this in. This here's comes from the servo on this side. I just have it through here. I'll glue this up and through the bottom out onto this side. Now I know that this is going to fit smooth on the other side of the kit, but I'll carve this out and inlay this into here and here after I glue the tail on. So I'll glue the tail on, then I'll inlay this wire, have it run all the way through here up to the front where it has to go, and I'll mark it with the as the rudder, so all these wires are done. I know what's what. I'm going to use 5-minute epoxy for this, but again, this is dangerous because I'm going to put it on half here, but I can see that it makes a good fit. I only have to hold it for a minute because I'm using 5-minute epoxy. So I'll mix the epoxy up and we'll get this on the go. Well, here we go. I got epoxy all over this really nice. I'm going to hold it right in place here. Oh, this match is perfect. It fits in that spot. I'll have to hold it for a minute and it will be glued in place. Well, there we go. That 5-minute epoxy set up quick. Now, on the one half here, I have a tail section, fan, holy moly, all this stuff. So now, I'm going to use an X-Acto. I'm going to cut this in, because the other side of the fuselage is going to fit tight in there, so there's all got to be flush fitting. So I'll cut this stuff in, make it all fit nice. I'll get slits, just like I did there. I run this wire up to here. Well, I hope this one's long enough. Well, we'll see, won't we? It should be. Okay, then we'll do that. And that should be interesting. So there's just constantly a ton of wires to drag around this thing every single time now. We have these long power lines, the ESC line, the elevator, and now the rudder all on this one. So we'll go and we'll cut this flush right down in all the way. It's going to have to go deep in there. Or should I come right to the bottom and cut it in flush down here? I think that's where I'll do it. It'll be easier if I do that. So we'll cut it out down here. Hopefully you can see where I'm working. So I'll just hold it there. And I'll just go to the edge. So if I just take this, go to there. I should check, make sure. That's what the box. There's room on the other side, I guess. Now, I'm gonna make a line for the wire to come. Just wiggle my knife in that line instead of cutting a piece out, just to make it bigger. And now this piece here, I've cut very carefully. Oops, I didn't mean to hit that. Very carefully pull the styrofoam out. It doesn't have to go very deep because I have to go just as deep as that plug. Now, maybe thinking, there's something I haven't done to that plug. That's right. I haven't put a shrink tube on it. So, I'll clear this out just a little bit more. Just a little more. Glue all that all over. And your eyes, I guess. Be very careful. But before we go further, what size was this? That's too big for that. I got so many sizes of shrink tube I can never remember. Okay, what fits on here? That fits good. Okay, so we'll cut a piece off here and we'll put it on.